Okay, welcome to another Field of Glory 2 Digital League Season 8 battle. This is Classical Antiquity Division A. I'm facing off against Ludendorf, who will undoubtedly also be recording from his side and hosting on his YouTube channel, to which I'll put a link below. I have the Romans with Greek allies, and he is bringing the formidable Carthaginian Hannibal in Africa list. The Hannibal in Africa list is one of the best lists in Classical. Not that I'm good at using it. Its strength is that, well, it's got a solid skirmishing arm. Not great, but solid. Lots of cheap medium foot to fill out the line and extend it to open up flank attacks. And some good heavy foot as well. Warbands and African spearmen are perfectly adequate. Veteran African spearmen are very good. Superior armored heavy foot offensive spearmen, maneuverable. 78 points, but worth it, I think. And some veteran medium foot as well to control the terrain. But I think the bigger thing is the strong cavalry and elephant arm backed by a very powerful light javelin horse arm of up to 7 units, which I will have difficulty countering with my 2. So, the first question to consider is, do we even want to contest this rough ground? He can recruit large numbers of Spanish Scutari, so average protected impact with swordsmen. I can only get a single unit of Scutari, otherwise my medium foot are Greek Thureophoroi or Italian foot, neither of which fare particularly well against impact foot. The alternative would be to form up between these two forests for a solid battle line and defend ourselves. Especially considering our deficit in light horse, that is the way that I'm inclined. But we'll form up first, take a look and see if it looks even like a viable strategy. And it's going to be difficult. We're going to want some of our expensive troops, but we are also going to want some veterans to match against his veterans. But I think maybe 2 will be a good maximum. It might be worth bringing raw legionaries, although they will lose to pretty much anything he can bring, but they're very cheap and numerous. I might need them to pad out the line, but first I'll just get regular Hastati and Principes. I'll certainly want to bring my own elephants to the field. Perhaps I'll replace my veterans with Phalangites. Yes, I think I will bring the raw legionaries. They're terrible, but I need numbers as well. My 2 light javelin horse. The remaining lights that I have access to are expensive. So far I'm looking at 8 units of infantry lights and 2 units of cavalry lights. He could bring up to 9 units of infantry lights and up to 7 units of cavalry lights, so unfortunately I think I probably should invest in a couple more units, although I don't really want to do so. I could also invest in artillery, but then I'm practically inviting a draw, as he will be reluctant to bring his line in range of heavy artillery, or at least reluctant to bring his elephants into range. and also I will be more forced to sit on it, even if he forms up in a way that perhaps I could attack. Although considering the disparity in numbers that we're going to have, no matter what, that's kind of sounding attractive. I'm going to think about that and also grab some cheap armored cavalry. I don't think I'm going to bother with FoGII because they cannot evade, and that would be a problem in the face of elephants. Veterans it is. I'm kind of unsatisfied with this. This is overly defensive, but I know that I'm going to be outnumbered in terms of number of units, and I know that I'm going to be outnumbered in terms of number of light horse, and with that combination, I think moving out is probably going to be unwise. If I'm wrong and he doesn't employ a swarm of light horse or a swarm of cheaper units, then it might be viable to advance into the open and abandon this 36-point heavy artillery unit. But I don't think so. Stuck the Italian foot in the forest because even if they lose impact, they'll drop to disrupted, and a unit fighting them in the forest would be disordered anyway, which is equivalent basically to being disrupted in terms of its effect on combat power. Okay, so we'll start with this, and if it looks viable, we'll advance. Okay, let's see what Ludendorf deployed. Yeah, I think a defensive deployment was the right call, considering that swarm of light horse and much larger number of medium foot. I think he could still very much win this by simply wrapping around both ends. So what I'm going to have to consider is whether I'll be able to afford to simply attack one wing once he gets close and fight a delaying action on the other end. Almost no light infantry skirmishers, so that is good. Because that'll allow us to pile our own lights into this forest and use it as a base from which to disrupt any light horse shenanigans from that direction. But we're not bound to camp this heavy artillery just because he didn't bring elephants to the field. It would be a waste of 36 points to abandon it, but worse things have happened. Good for now, but if a squishable mass approaches us before the wings can close in, we're going to strike out. Alright, Ludendorf is trying to encourage me to come out. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. he pushes a whole bunch of medium foot into this forest, we'll need to pull our Italian foot out of it and reform here. Maybe swing this line out, but this giant patch of rough makes maneuver difficult. We'll inch forward a little bit. We can push depending on which direction he goes. So we have 15 non-light infantry bases, including my elephants in the count. To 18. A number by 3. Then in non-light cavalry, we are even. So, yeah, not coming out yet. Alright, next turn. Okay. He's definitely going to force me to come out of this position. I'm not going to be able to just comfortably fight here. He's clearly going to push through either this forest or this forest at the same time and force me to divide my attention. So my only hope, I think, is to wait until he gets close enough and then try to attack very aggressively toward one side before the other side can swing in and surround me. A risky strategy. Next turn. I wonder if there's a way. It might be worth swinging the whole battle line right and marching it this way. Seeing if we can fight here with this forest for cover. Might be really dumb. Let's see if we get any kind of reaction when we turn this way. I don't know that we will. It would entail abandoning our artillery, but I'm not really concerned with that. Next turn. Yes, I think it would be best to try to push here. It's a bit unethical, but otherwise it's getting outflanked on two sides, and I would rather not. Thank you very much. Cavalry, I think I'll just keep here for the moment, and I can decide later whether I want them helping hold here, or, well, here. We'll push them over for now, but I can always swing them back if I need to. There's plenty of time. Because I would like to have a head-on infantry clash. I do not want to get surrounded and hit from all sides. Next turn. Now I wish I had the patch updated while it is for a charge here. Instead, we'll just slink away into the forest. Right. Triari over as well. So we should be able to successfully block off this edge. Dishonorable, I know. I'm doing this just because he has so much more infantry that if I just stood here, especially so much more medium infantry, he could just surround me on both sides, and I would rather fight over here. Okay. Next turn. Okay, I can either continue on my present course to this open area, or I could do something completely stupid and turn about to try to force an action in this open ground here. Full of indecision in this match. This is not a well-planned affair. What does that give us? 5 non-light units to 6, potentially 7, 8. Pretty gross. 12 there. Also pretty gross. Let's... Let's split the difference with the cavalry. Now these moving up. We'll turn and fight, or at least make the attempt to do so. Try to get the Scutari in this forest or outside of it. The Italian foot I've not yet decided on. So this is a bit of a mess. I was pushing for this corner and now I'm just gonna fight on both sides anyway, but I'm at least avoiding getting completely surrounded here, which was kind of my fear. At least avoiding it so far. Next turn. I really have no idea what the hell I'm doing right now, to be honest. But Ludendorf seems to have a plan, so that's good. Oh, of course, of course. This is all pointless, but I just want to keep them distracted. Alright, we'll want a medium foot covering our flank. I want Thudioforoi facing off against the forest, so we don't get good expensive heavy foot block. locked in. Do some light harassment on these veteran spearmen. $22, not bad. This is... The lack of numbers is just concerning everywhere I look, to be honest. Okay, we'll try to just slam into this line and break units before anything especially horrible happens. But we'll see about that. Onward. Alright, let's watch me continue to flail and panic. Oh, that is interesting. Now he wants me to come out and pursue him here. I wonder if I even want to do that. I'll have to think about it. Probably a terrible idea is my guess. Damn, I was hoping for first blood. If I lose both of these skirmishers, it could be problematic. Oh well. Getting some harassment. Well, if he's gonna withdraw, then we will form up. Scutari to the forest. Right. Turn. I'm going to turn the artillery so we can start targeting this cavalry as it shifts over. I think pursuing is a bad idea because he can kind of catch me in a pocket between this rough and this forest. So we'll continue to maneuver and shift this cavalry over to fight his cavalry. I could push these elephants forward so that if he falls back more, he takes more cohesion checks. But the problem is his veteran African spearmen could just obliterate my elephants so long as they survive impact. And he could maneuver in a way that it would expose my flank if I did charge. So I think that is probably not a good idea. We will lose a skirmish here to these Venetian style foot. It's unfortunate. But we'll still have a couple of skirmishers left over here, so it's not the end of the world. Ludendorf is a better and more careful player than I am, so I'm still not feeling good about this, especially given his superiority in numbers. But we seem to have things semi under control for the moment. Next turn. Not exactly what I was hoping for. Good, we shoved them off. Eight infantry units to my 7, counting the elephants and ignoring this whole situation. Yeah, I don't think it's possible to simply push quickly and overwhelm this. You can keep pulling them back and turn these and these inward. So we're going to need to look at ways to stretch our line further. The cavalry will be helpful for that, but they're not very good cavalry, so it will only take us so far. Right, you're doomed. Yeah, I just don't think I have enough units to deal with this. If we had a narrower battlefield, like, a body of water and a nice big mountain, we could just line up across the entire area, we'd be fine. But we don't have that kind of battlefield, and I think Ludendorff is just going to gradually surround and pick me apart. Next turn. Right, turn this artillery. And what? Could shove them and see where they end up. Let's try it. Oh, that's a death sentence. Okay. I suppose we could throw away our armored cavalry. Do I want to, though? There's a small chance we could break them outright, but most likely we'll just get our men killed. But hey, they're only 40 points. Oh, let's just do it. That's fine. Yep, he's just stretching his line, and there's very little we can do about it. I wonder if this would be criminally stupid. It probably is. It was. Alright. Rather not fight them in the woods, as we'll both be disordered, and that's better for him. I guess I don't really have a choice if I'm to cover my flanks. Two, three, 4 units of infantry, so we'll send the elephants over. These gaps are extremely dangerous and could lead to our demise, but again, with so few units, I just don't have a choice but to do so. Next turn. Alright, let's see what the Scutari can do. Good. And deny that flank attack. Fallback is good. I wish I'd turned these all the way in time. Do I risk getting run down in order to disrupt? Probably not. In we go. Keep them pinned. They're worth more points than we are. Good. Commander-in-Chief, let's put you on this Hastati and Principes unit. We'll lose his cavalry, but it'll give us more time to engage here with heavies. So Ludendorf suggested that I should have weighted one flank aggressively, and then, having done so, attack. It's a bit late for that. I'm kind of skeptical that would have worked. He said I gave him too much time to wrap around, but an aggressive movement on one flank would have been pretty obvious, and I think he still would have had time to rat me. So I'm skeptical of that. In addition, to have acted aggressively would have been moving in very open ground, or in rough ground surrounded by open ground, neither of which I think is as useful for slowing him as these forests have proved so far. But I could be wrong, and it's early days yet. Next turn. It's generaled up there to try to recover them. It'll probably work. Yeah. It's the problem with being outnumbered. You get outflanked. quite hideous. Nothing for it, though. How many? 167. I wonder what happens if I go like this, and I charge. I was hoping they'd evade. Disrupted is the best I'm gonna get. If we're lucky, nope. If we're lucky, we could have auto-broken them. No luck. At least not that kind of luck. Yeah, we're gonna get torn to shreds. Our lines is fragmenting. Admittedly, I played this not very well. I just kind of flailed about ineffectually, not really sure what to do. But at the same time, I'm really not sure what I could have done. Ludendorf thinks I should have attacked, but I really don't think that would have worked. I just don't have enough light cavalry for it. Now, this was probably a waste of points. Admittedly, I really could have used, another 36 points of units. But I'm not sure if that's a decisive mistake. It could be, honestly. If I had one more blocking unit here, this wouldn't happen, and this is going to trigger some kind of cohesion fail, which could trigger a greater collapse. Ludendorf is trying to encourage me. That's very nice of him. I think he's wrong that I can still win this. Now, we're both constantly pessimistic players. However, I think my pessimism is better founded. That helps. I mean, this whole situation is horrible, but yeah, that is hugely problematic. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to do about this whole situation. We're getting outflanked on every turn. I don't think it's going to be a total landslide. I'm going to do some damage, but I don't think we can win this. Maybe we can just auto-break them. Come on. Good. Right, in that case, now we can continue the battle-long tradition of having no real target for this artillery. Any checks? That would be extremely helpful right now. Good. How about a double drop? Doesn't that sound nice? Guess not. How bad off? 35% to lose? Pretty bad. Fragged. Yeah. See, this situation is going to cost me the battle because I had to thin out my line, but I really had no choice. I had to do it. And since they've rallied, I lose my swordsman POA. We'll get shredded there. Lovely. And then we'll lose this unit. Yeah, I'm telling you, Ludendorf, I may be a pessimist, but, you know, I can tell a lost battle. This damned artillery has just been useless this entire time. Oh, although that could help. Oh, but they followed. Damn it. Thanks for nothing, guys. Thanks for nothing. Okay, so now we need to figure out what to do about this situation. I mean, we're going to lose because we're going to lose this unit. We're going to lose this unit. Question is... if I face this way, then I can avoid getting flanked for one turn. I could also face this unit forward and square this unit. That'll at least prolong our situation. But we can't win here. We're going to lose this unless a miracle happens. It would have to truly be a miracle, though. I don't really believe in those in Field of Glory, to be honest. Yeah, some people have advocated for removing square from the game, but you know, if you're forming square, it means you're losing pretty badly. Yeah, I think we have to do it. Alright. Alright. Yeah, that's done. Ludendorff says it's frighteningly close, but from over here the view is just looking frightening in general. Pointless sticking around. Alright. Half arc. We're never gonna get to use this damn artillery. Fine, just fire. Just do something. For Christ's sake. If I expose our flank, they could just get charged by light horse. It's annoying. They're disrupted, so I'm actually worrying about that, of course. Well, we kind of have to go for this, even though it's not very desirable. Held firm for now. Well, see what you can do. Hey, maybe we'll get one more break in. Right. Turn to face that way. Maybe we can drop out of square next turn. How bad? Very bad. Alright, we're on the way down, but I think we can break a couple more units at least. Next turn. Nope, they all hold firm. There we go. If we hold firm, we can get a flank. Good. Triari. That only adds 2%. Need one of these larger units to rally if we're going to have a chance, but don't think it's terribly likely. This was really disappointing. I had 50 POA over these guys this whole time and could never get them to disrupt. Well, you've nothing better to do. You're just worthless, basically. What a waste of points. Needed to push them back there, now we're gonna get flanked. Alright. Well, we got him over 30, so that's not too terrible. Next turn. Yep, as expected. They hold firm, they can just survive for a while there. Alright, boys, now's the time. No, I guess they're not feeling sacrificial today. Right. No, shove off. Get that flank. Don't really know what I'm doing at this point. Actually, I don't think I knew what I was doing this entire game, to be fair. So annoying. It's not a battle loser or anything, it's just they've been up that percent this whole time. Alright. Next turn. $52. Should be over next turn, I would imagine. Who rallied? Didn't even see. Oh, you did. That's not very helpful. Oh, now you disrupt them. You're a bit late, guys. Alright, one more and that should be it. Next turn. I'm thinking probably the last turn. Find out. You're so useless. I'm so annoyed with that unit. Maybe it'll be over next turn then, not quite this turn. Anyone? No. $56. No miracles. Right, next turn then. Alright, it should be over here. Okay, so what went wrong? For starters, I think my army is rather dependent on a narrow battlefield, which was not available to us here. You'll notice if you watch some of the other classical matches that when I had a nice narrow battlefield, I could kind of crush through and do all right. The weakness with this list in terms of wide open battlefields like this is that it only has 2 light cavalry, and although it has 4 cavalry, 3 of them are just average quality armored horse at 40 points apiece, which are garbage. But that being said, I think I made a pretty severe mistake as well. Ludendorf thinks I should have waited 1 wing and attacked. I disagree. I think that would have been a miserable failure. I think he would have surrounded me and had an even easier time without the forest to at least slow him down. Instead, I think my mistake was in investing too many points in expensive heavy infantry, the veteran legionaries, the pike phalanxes. These units are expensive. They're 72 points apiece, and yet he was able to neutralize them with, say, 2 cheaper units threatening a flank. Phoenician style foot is 33 points, so 66 points for 2 of them to neutralize a 72-point unit by threatening the flanks. Ouch. In addition, his superior light horse meant that I felt kind of locked in, and if more rallies had occurred, I think he probably would have found a way to break my fragged units. My artillery was a mistake too. These guys just didn't do anything. I really could have used 1 more non-light unit here, and that might have saved my phalanx from collapse, which honestly, that alone may have saved the battle, but I think a better call would have been invest in 2 units of veteran legionaries to match his 2 veteran African spearmen, and otherwise invest in cheap medium foot. I had plenty of Thuriophoroi that I could have deployed at 42 points a pop that theoretically, looking at you, bud, could steamroll swordsmen. They would have had some trouble against the Scutari, so I still would have got some raw legionaries and average Hastati and Principes, but just a few more non-light units really would have been helpful to me here. But to be clear, Ludendorff is also a better player than me, particularly in Classical. I don't play Classical as often, and I think I'm a bit out of practice too. But a good game. Very well done to him. Until next time.